Hello, everyone. It's Shamila Ramjawan from Johannesburg, South Africa. It's the Red Corner Show's first birthday, as well as Women's Month in South Africa. I am celebrating this Women's Month with 31 inspirational women from across the globe. Today, my guest on the show is Margaret Hirsch, born in Zimbabwe, and she came to South Africa when she was 10 years old. Margaret Hirsch, Executive Director of the Hirsch's Homestore Group, has become a leading example to businesswomen in Southern Africa, coming from a humble background to co-founding with her husband, Allan, and running the billion-rand Appliance and Electronic retail organization, Hirsch's. There are 18 Hirschh branches and concept stores around South Africa. Margaret has been recognized through her efforts in building a successful business, her determination to give back to the community over the past 10 years, also winning a multitude of business awards, including 3 Lifetime Achievement Awards in Business and Entrepreneurship. Margaret regards herself as a jack of all trades, having done the selling, invoicing, demonstrating, being a delivery person on the trucks, installing and demonstrating in customers' homes, and generally taking care of almost everything at Hirsch's for the past 42 years. Welcome, Margaret Hirsch, to the Red Corner Show.
Thank you, Shamila. I'm so happy to be on your show, and thank you so much for having me today.
It's only a pleasure. Thank you for accepting my invitation. I'm overwhelmed and really humbled to have you on my show.
Thank you. I'm happy to be here. I'm talking to you from the beautiful exotic island of Zanzibar, where I have a holiday home, and I try and come here every 6 weeks, which wasn't possible during COVID and that, but thank goodness it's possible again. So we're getting ourselves back to the new normal.
I am absolutely jealous. You know, when I saw you and Allan on that plane, I was just saying, no, I need to travel as well. I want to be like Margaret.
I think everybody's just so tired of being locked up and locked down that we're just happy to get away. And it's so beautiful here. It's just amazing. So yeah, we're very blessed. But you know, and that's what being financially free does to women. It gives you choices. You don't have to stay where you don't want to be. And that's my message going out to all the women who are watching today. If you're financially free, you have the choice to do whatever you want to do. You don't have to ask anybody else. You don't have to be submissive. You don't have to say, yes, sir, no, sir, 3 bags also. You can do whatever you want to do when you want to do it, but you have to be able to take the good with the bad. So, you know, it's all very well to say, you know, be financially free, but you've got to have a good balance in your life as well. And it's always nice to have a really good person to share your life with. And I've been married now for nearly 50 years to the same man.
Oh my goodness, congratulations. And you deserve everything, Margaret. You've worked so hard. You know, I followed your journey over the past few years, and it's just incredible what you're doing. And you know, what really touches me is the amount of passion and purpose that you actually fulfill on this earth, because you give back so much. But we're going to get into that. Before we go right into the conversation itself, please tell the audience a little bit about yourself, growing up, career, anything that you would like to share.
Well, I think, you know, the most important thing, people, when they see you wealthy today, they think you've always been wealthy, and was far from the truth. I mean, when my father died, my mother got a job at Nene Leicester in Durban for 30 Rand a month. So we lived in the back room of a relative's house, and we had to live on the 30 Rand a month. So even in those days, it was a little bit of money. So I've really been very, very poor. I started work when I was 12 years old, washing hair in a hairdressing salon, and I've literally worked every day since. I'll be 71 this year, and I must say I've had the most amazing life. I've enjoyed every minute of it, and I've made the most of everything, because even washing hair in the hairdressing salon in those days, I had very crispy black hair, and I used to have it straightened and done so nicely, and so at least I could look decent when I went out on the weekend. So yeah, it's been an amazing journey. I met my husband when he was 24, I was 21, and at that stage I didn't know that he could not read or write, because when you meet a person, you don't understand all the challenges they've been through. But that's when I saw my gift. Everybody has a gift. Every single person watching this has a gift. And your mission in life is to find your gift, and your purpose in life is to give it away. So my gift is when I see anybody, and I see new people like you, as soon as I see you, I don't see you as you are, but as you can be. And I want to ask you the question, and ask all the listeners the question as well. If you could be more than you are, if you could have done more than you've done, would that be possible? And the answer is, of course it is. You know, you could definitely be more. You could have done more. but why didn't you? And the only thing holding you back was your fear of failure, your fear that you wouldn't do it, your fear that people would laugh at you. Well, I didn't have that fear. So when I saw my husband, I knew that he had so much potential in him that hadn't been discovered yet. So that's when our journey started. So we were married for 5 years. When I got pregnant, my boss fired me. And when that happened, I said, in those days, it was before CCMA, there was nothing you could do. You took your handbag and went home. I said, no man will ever have the power over me again to fire me. And so I said, I'll never work for another boss. And I never have, because then I started my own business. And that's how it all started. I started my business a year later, Allan started his business. And we went from having 2 jobs and no children to having 2 children and no job in the space of a year. So that was a bit hectic, but when life throws you lemons, you've got to make the lemonade. So we made the lemonade and we just carried on. We started our business, and it was a very, very small business to start off with. And that's what a lot of people say to me, how did it all happen? Well, it was a long, slow process. It didn't happen overnight, Mm-hmm. So my instant success took 35 years in the making. And that's what a lot of people, they want it to happen right now. The children today are used to instant gratification. I want it right now. I'll have it. I'll borrow the money. I'll do whatever I've got to do. You can't do that. You've got to start slowly and build up. And that's why I work with entrepreneurs all the time. And I teach them how I started slowly and built up. My property business, which runs in conjunction with my appliance business. I bought my first house at 1 Ashby Road, Durban North for 2,000 Rand. That's how I started. Today I have over 1 billion Rands worth of property. You've got to start slow and you've got to build up. And I tell you all this not to impress you, but to impress upon you that if I can do it, you can do it. I come from a single mother growing up in the back room of somebody else's house. You don't have to have the life that you've been chucked at you. You can have the life of your dreams. You can do anything you want, but you've got to put in the effort. And that's where most people fall back. They don't want to put in that effort. They want to sit and watch television and it's almost fall in the lap, And I say to people, when you look at the birds, God feeds all the birds. Every little bird is fed. You don't see a hungry bird walking around. But he doesn't throw the seed in their nests. You see them scratching from the morning to the night. The story, the early bird gets the worm. That's why you've got to get up early in the morning. You've got to be working from early in the morning to late at night if you want to get those worms and carry on. And that's what we did. So it started slowly and it started to snowball. And I teach people, when I show them how it works, I get a checkers board, the black and white checkers board. Mm-hmm. And you put 1 piece of rice on the first block and 2 on the second block, 4 on the third block, 8 on the next block, 16 on the next block, 32 on the next block. And so you go, and that's how it builds up. It builds up much quicker towards the end, but it takes a long time until you start getting those piles of rice. And so that's what I teach people. You've got to start slowly and build up, and then it actually works in the end. It all works out fine. So I also like to have 2 streams of income. So we have the appliance business on one side, our property business on the other side. And I teach all my staff to have 2 streams of income. So everybody, like my cashiers sell Herbalife, Tupperware, Average Lane, honey jewelry, whatever. They have another stream of income. So if they ever lose their job, they've got something to fall back on. Mm-hmm. And all those places will give you amazing, amazing training on how to sell, on how to market, and that all comes free. You don't have to pay for it. So that's wonderful. My manager of my Shonga store's got his own furniture factory. Shane, who's on right here with us, he's got his own business doing social media for people. So I encourage everybody to have the 2 streams of income. So if one dries up, the other one is always there for them. So I never want anybody to say, oh my God, Margaret just used me and sucked all the blood out of me and chucked me aside. No, it's not like that at all. We grow everybody that works for us to be the best that they can possibly be, to do as much as they can possibly do, and to have as much as they can possibly want. Mm. That's our goal, and that's what we work for. And that's what makes Hirschh different from other companies, because we're there to grow our staff to be the best that they can be and to do as much as they can. I want all of them to own their own cars. They all own their own houses. They all must have money in the bank. And we teach them how to do that, because like anything else, if nobody teaches you, you would never know. And that's why most people, if you go to work for the government, they're not going to teach you how to make money. They're not going to teach you how to be successful. But we at Hirschh, we do that, which makes us very, very different from other companies.
Lovely. What a phenomenal women. Growing others once you grow yourself as well. But just to take a step back, you worked in the salon at the age of 12. What went through your mind at the time? Did you have dreams and aspirations outside of the salon?
I just knew, well, there at that stage, you just want to look good, and I did not look good, believe me. So I had my hair done every weekend. We would go out on the weekend, and we'd go to church on Sunday, and I still have my hair done in the same. Those days you have the bouffant up style. So so what was going through my head is, wow, I'm going to look good this weekend. Was number one. Number two is I know now that I can earn money, and the money that I earned from that, I could buy myself a pair of shoes, which I never had. I only had school shoes. So when I went to church on Sunday, I then had a very nice pair of shoes to wear. And so there again, I started earning 50 cents the Saturday morning, but I built that money up over a period of time, and I bought myself a tape recorder so I would record all my schoolwork, because I was working when other people were studying. I would record my schoolwork and I'd play it at night on a tape recorder. So, little things like that. I knew that I had to improve myself. I knew that nobody was going to do it for me. I realized that my parents were good salt of the earth people, but I didn't want to have the life that they had, So when I was in matric, we were only 12 girls in matric, of which 8 got married the first year out of school. And those days they used to marry you off, so they didn't have to feed you, and you would go and get married. And I just realized that this was my life. I got engaged that same year, and my mother said to me, and my fiance worked for the railways. In those days, it was a hell of a good job. And she said, you're so lucky your fiance works for the railways. You're going to have such a good pension. And I was 17 at the time. I said, oh my God, there's going to be more than life. I just saw my life turn, and I saw her. And if you speak to Peggy Sue Khumalo, she had exactly the same epiphany. She was working with her mother as a domestic worker, washing the ladies washing in a bucket. And she looked up and she saw her mother, and she said, oh my God, in 20 years, that's going to be me. I don't want this. There's got to be more to life. So I just saved up my money. I got on the Pendennis class. I went to England. I didn't know a soul in England. I didn't have a job. I had nothing, but I knew that I didn't want this life that my parents had lived, and they were good, honest people, but they had got nowhere in life. So I knew that there was a greater life out there. And that's why I went overseas. I worked over there. And then eventually I came back.
Great to see you, Margaret. Absolutely phenomenal. I watched the interview with Peggy Sue Khumalo and yourself. Amazing.
Oh, Peggy Sue is just astounding. And I mean, she's such a good role model to all the South African people. You can start from nowhere. You can have everything you want. And your life does go up and down and roller coasters. I mean, she's been up, she's been down, she's been up, she's been down, but she's still so strong and still carried on regardless. She is just astounding. Yeah.
Wonderful. Just talking about studying in school, in 2020, you completed your MBA degree at the age of 70. As an MBA graduate myself, I know the major challenge is time management. With your busy life, how did you manage with your studies?
Well, in those days, it was before COVID, so I was working Monday, Tuesday, Joburg, Wednesday, Thursday, Cape Town, Friday, Saturday, Durban. So I was spending a lot of time on aeroplanes. So, the nice thing about being on an aeroplane, that nobody disturbs you for that time, because, I mean, okay, those days they used to offer you food, which they don't even do that anymore. But I would have that hour or 2 hours to sit and actually study. So I studied a lot on the plane. I did allocate study time every night. So I would finish my work and then I would study at night. I don't sleep much. So I would study from 10 o'clock till midnight, or sometimes from when I was busy from midnight to 2 a.m. and still get up at 4 a.m. the next morning to go to work. So I would study at night. That was my time. But usually on the weekends, because we finished at 4 on a Saturday and Sunday, so I'd have an extra couple of hours. But I did most of my study on the plane. And then when COVID hit, that was really, really good, because I had a lot of time then. And that's when I finished it. So I did the 3 years in 2. Wow. So I was able to get through a lot of it then. Yeah. And it is hectic, as you know, but I'm so glad I did it. It taught me a lot. It taught me to study. It taught me to be disciplined. Yes. It taught me a lot of things other than the business side of it. Yeah.
Absolutely. And your focus was entrepreneurship. Well done. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Margaret, these words, this resonates with you. You can work for a boss and make a living, or you can work for yourself and earn a fortune, but you have to be passionate about what you do. You have proven the latter, and you are showing the nation where your passion lies. What tips can you provide for startup entrepreneurs?
Well, lots of startup entrepreneurs, the first thing they do is borrow money. And I say to them, don't borrow money. My thesis was on 45 people who started their business without borrowing any money. Because if you borrow money, you've got to pay it back, and you've got to pay it back with interest. So it's not something that you really want to do, because and that's why there's such a big failure rate with businesses. The business start, they borrow money to start, they start making money. It's not that they're not making money, but the minute they start making money, they've got to pay back the person they borrowed from. So they don't have any money. And you're in the business to make money so that you can buy what you want. want. So that's why that formula doesn't work. My formula works, and I proved it 45 times to get my MBA, that you can start with nothing, you build up slowly, and eventually you will have everything that you want, and you don't have to pay anybody back. So the money you make is yours, you can spend it. And that's the big difference. So, and I mean, I started people from simple things like baking cakes to starting a nursery school to being a fitness trainer, a lawyer, all sorts of different jobs. I mean, it doesn't matter what job you have. Start off selling your skills with you. So you've got brain in your two hands. So you start off selling your skills, and that the money you make from that, you invest back into the business so that you don't have to borrow money from somebody else. And that's how it works. So yeah, I was very happy to get my MBA. It really made a big difference in my life. I've used the stuff that I learned in so many different ways. But you know, the nice thing about the camaraderie of the people that you work with, that you studied with, I mean, that's absolutely priceless. You can't buy that. So yeah.
For sure. And you're such a humble person. I mean, you are just a people's person. You know, you never decline anything. You always have the time, or you give people the time of day to talk to you and chat to you. I remember talking to you 5 years ago when I came to your Four Ways branch, when I just launched Princess Dia, and we sat and we had a discussion and coffee, and it was amazing. Thank you, Margaret.
Yes, no,
thank you for what you do. Lovely.
And, you know, I brought the Princess D's, I brought a whole lot of them to Zanzibar, and I gave them out to the ladies here because there's no shops for them to buy anything. And a lot of them spent the whole day sitting in water because they harvest the seaweed. So imagine having your period and sitting in water, so uncomfortable. So yeah, I gave out the Princess D's here in Zanzibar as well.
Thank you so much. Just talking about menstruation, I know that is very close to your heart, and you do a lot of community work along keeping girls in school during menstruation. Take me through your journey as to what you do out there in the community.
So I love working in schools. I love children, and I love working in schools. I love the children from 2 to 6 year old because I believe their characters are formed in that time. So I love working with them, and I own quite a few nursery schools. And then I love working with young children because they're like sponges. They just absorb everything that you can possibly give them. So it's just so wonderful to work with them. But my absolute passion is the girls from grade 8 to matric, because those are our future. Those are the women that are going to be educating the children of the future. So I love working with them. So I give them, excuse my chickens crowing in the background. So I give them the reusable sanitary pads. I work with my friend Sue Barnes. She's a dress designer by profession, but she makes the reusable sanitary pads. So we give them a pack of 3, so you get a pair of panties because a lot of them don't have panties. And then it's one on, one off, one in the wash. We give them, they last for 5 years. So we give them out in grade 8, and they last them right past matric. And it's just amazing. You know, they can go to school. We monitor their marks go up. It changes their life. You know, you can't believe it. But you can imagine if you're poor and there's not enough money to buy food, your parents don't want you to give you money to buy your sanitary pads every month. And they're expensive. You know, if you've got a father or mother who's working on a government grant, you can't really manage, you know, to spend that money every single month and flush it all down the toilet. So this is a way of doing that. So I work a lot with the girls. I even work now, I'm working with the Miss South Africas, with the Mrs. South Africas, and we're doing the first ever matric dance for a school in Diepsloot, where they've never had a matric dance before. And we've collected over 200 dresses and suits for the boys, and we're sorting it all out. And the matric dance is on the 9th of October. And we're giving them a fantastic time.
Can I send you some dresses as well?
Of course, yes. And we'll see. I'll invite you to come with us. We're going to give them out to the girls because we're going to make sure that they fit them, and we're going to, you know, they're going to have to make sure they fit and the colors and, you know, the girls all want to show everything. So yeah, we're going to make them all nice and modest, and we've got shoes, we've got accessories. Yeah, we're going out, I think it's in 2 Mondays' time, to go and give them out at the school and help the girls to get dressed and help them do their makeup. And then on the day, the Mrs. South Africas are coming with us to do the makeup, the hair, dress them, get them all ready to go for the dance. Yeah, it's going to be very exciting.
Oh, I'd love to be involved, and I've got a few dresses to contribute as well. That would be awesome.
Oh, wonderful. They'll love them because they would never be able to buy dresses like we have, you know, and, you know, especially if you're like me, you're not like me, but I always put on weight so the damn dress doesn't fit. So I've got quite a few that I handed up to tell you.
Trust me with the age thing. My weight fluctuates all the time. You just got to keep fit and exercise. Margaret, you're such an inspiration to so many women and men across Africa. Who inspires you?
I think the people that I come in contact with, like you, on a daily basis, that you inspire me. And I love working with people, as you know. And I think when you're with people and you just see them growing and blossoming and things going right in their lives, it just inspires you to carry on and do more. You know, I just, for me, I enjoy it so much. I mean, especially loved working with the Mrs. South Africans because they were just so energetic, so enthusiastic. They're beautiful. They're just lovely to work with. I love working in the schools with the kids because, I mean, you just see them and they'll come up to you afterwards and say, you know, Mrs. Hirsch, since you gave me those reusable sanitary pads, my marks have gone from 43% aggregate to an 80% aggregate, you know, so they really, really help you in that way. And that inspires you to do more as well. At the moment, I'm building a soccer field in Kwamashu in a school where the children have nowhere to play. And so, but they had some land. So we're flattening the land and we're building a soccer field so the kids can go and play. People say, but why are you doing this? You know, and I said, because if the kids are busy and playing sport, they won't be getting up to mischief. So, yeah.
Such incredible work, Margaret. Thank you so much for everything that you do for everyone. You know, I had a chat with Ladia the other day. She's also one of the 31 women that I'm showcasing this month. And she told me how you've helped her with her business.
Yeah, you know, Ladia came to me. She was retrenched. She didn't have anything to do. She was sitting at home and she just said, like, you just get that epiphany. I'm not going to do this anymore. So she came to me. She said, Margaret, I want to start selling food and, you know, I need space. And we had space in the shop I think she started in Steuben's Valley. She started there and we've got a car wash and she just got a little corner and she's just started small, cooking the food at home, bringing it in, got bigger and bigger. And then we got space in 4 ways. And I said to her, Ladia, do you want the space? And she took that. And then as soon as space came available in Meadowdale, she said she'll take that. And now she wants to come into Silver Lakes. So her business, and she just is exactly what I say, the philosophy, start small with what you've got, where you are, and build from there. And that's what works. And it really does work. And it worked for me, it's working for her, it's worked for hundreds of other people. And she's going to be such a good advocate for me because she's exactly gone to my formula that I said to her, this is what you do. Don't get too big too quick. Get one up and running. Let that money feed the second one. Let that money feed the third one. And that's basically how you do it, yeah.
And she's going to get the best advice from you. Our South African women billionaire. Margaret, what a lovely conversation. I thoroughly enjoyed the chat. Just in closing, what would be your words of advice or hope, encouragement, inspiration to women out there since it's Women's Month?
Well, you know, you don't have to be where you are. If you're not where you are, you can change it. You're not a tree, you're not planted, you can move. So I think the first thing is to have a happy home. If you're not in a happy home situation, you've got to move out and get that. You've got to be financially independent to do that. So you have to have some money coming in. And I always say to the girls when I go to schools, you can let a man touch your body, but you don't let him touch your money. You keep that money to yourself. You don't give it to him. You don't let him have any part of it. And to women that are married, you always say to your husband, listen, you know, I'll handle the finances. Don't you worry. You go to work and just you bring it back. I'll handle those finances and you handle them, boy, because then at least the man ain't going nowhere with no money. So that's a very good formula that works incredibly well. And then, yeah, you know, you can have everything in life that you want if you help enough people to get what they want. And I think that's what a lot of women need to do, to give back, to help others. You know, no matter how little you have, there's always somebody who has less than you that you can help them. And even if you have no money or anything else, you can help them with your time, with your expertise. So as I said to you in the beginning, every one of us has a gift, and it's up to each one of us to find that gift. And when we find it, we've got to give it away. We've got to share it with everybody else. And as Mother Teresa says, if we all sweep our own doorstep, the whole world will be clean. It's the same with women. If we each help another woman, you know, we're 51% of the population of the world. The whole world will turn and it will become a better place. And that's what we're aiming for.
What a way to end the show. Margaret Hirsch from South Africa, thank you so much for sharing your journey and inspiration. And keep doing what you're doing because you're doing an amazing job at it. If anybody would like to be on the Red Corner Show, please drop me an email, redcornershow@gmail.com. Let's get chatting, and you too can inspire other people like Margaret Hirsch. Thank you for watching. Bye.